SPAX 3's own rendition. Overall, there are 12 parts to Jim's coverage of SPAX 3. The initial video covering the forum, 5 videos covering SPAX as a person, 5 other videos reacting to some of his Let's Plays, and a last, conclusive video. Within the first 6 videos, Jim uses slurs freely as he does, and also includes a video of a person ending himself. This is how he addressed some of that backlash.
Well, fuck me, everybody's a critic. God, what can you do? You make one dead Mexican joke and everybody's on your ass.
Jim also included an around 30-second clip of one of Hitler's speeches juxtaposed to him immediately wishing everyone a happy Easter. He later incorporates this into the same video.
Happy Easter, everybody!
The online space in 2009 was more free and edgy. But unlike other critics who later expressed that the things they said in the past don't demonstrate their beliefs, Jim hardly ever focused on himself and allowed the audience to come to their conclusions on his intentions. And as for those, he did not intend to become as popular as he was.
You know, pretty much the other big one is, well, what are you going to do after SPAX? Nothing. I have no idea why I have subscribers on YouTube or Dailymotion or Vimeo or any of the other places. So I have no idea why I have like 400 something subs. I don't know what you guys want. I don't make a lot of videos. If you've watched the shit that I've done recently, it's just bullshit, fun stuff,
What followed were videos without consistent themes, like his 2 videos dedicated to Mike, a forum member that was having problems running game emulators. And no matter how clear Jim's instructions were, Mike could not get these emulators to work. This is what inspired Jim's first video of Mike giving visual step-by-step instructions on how to get these emulators to work. But it turns out Mike even had issues.
Here it is. His fucking response to my video. I can't watch that. Firefox keeps me to get Flash, and I can't install it.
I forgot what the melee button was. The grenade button? I'm
Think about it. Let that sink in for a minute. What does he mean that Firefox?
Oh, I was using controller last night. That's why I'm so smart.
Fucking Firefox. In fact, I've never had a problem with Flash. If you're looking at my desktop, you're going to see I use Firefox, Opera, Netscape, Font, Safari, Real Player, and Internet Explorer. So, I don't know what problems he's having, man, but this kid is fucking amazing. So, there you go. That's my after video. I'd say, hey, Mike, give me a response, but apparently you can't watch the video.
Jim was one of the spaces that he sees as wrong. He enjoys the absurdity in situations. So even though Mike did not benefit from these videos, Jim did because of how frivolous they were. But everyone has a line with what they deem too absurd, and Jim's line is life ruination.
There's one thing I have never fucking done to anybody, and that is outright try to paint them like they've done something horrible like that. I've never accused anybody of rape or murder or because that's a line I don't fucking cross. I'm not going to destroy your life in an attempt to get back at you for something. That's just fucked up. I'll screw with you, but I'm not going to go that extra step and try to fucking ruin you like that without backing that shit up with some fucking proof.
What caused this uproar was a situation in the Transformers toy reviewer community. A situation where one group of people, including a popular reviewer in the space, were accusing a different reviewer of being a predator. But the accusers gave no evidence until pressed, and this was their evidence.
So what he said is, the bee shoots its honey on the flower's face. Yeah. The bee shoots its honey on the flower's face. But this is what we're gonna destroy somebody's life over? Is a fucking teenage boy here in a bad section? Are you fucking kidding me?
While Jim was a troll at heart, there were times he would drop a veil to address something he saw as important. But for the most part, especially in 2010, Jim was set out on trolling and would lay out fake videos. These were for communities rather than individuals.
God, I had like hundreds of accounts. I just with different names. What I used to do is I'd make an account, and I'd set up a fake persona, and then I'd make bait videos, and I'd let it sit for like 3 years. Because eventually, a group would come across it and try to like get an easy kill on it.
Victims constantly took bait, one of which was a juggalo defending the insane clown posse.
And then I get a response. He made a video response to me. This is fantastic. And his video response is it's just great. So he was inebriated. So to be fair, I've smoked some weed, and I don't mean, oh, hey, no, I mean I'm really high. Honest to God, right now, I'm fucking stoned. I think that evens the odds, because I want to be fair. fair and balanced, like Fox News guys.
Jim also made bait videos criticizing the commentary community, and so came the responses.
People like to make this kind of video content, therefore, you have got no right to say that they haven't got the right to make it. Do you think you're cool or something?
No, I don't think I'm cool. Just really fucking good looking. Really, really good looking.
Got him.
That black and white image is, according to Jim, the only image of him out there. But most of what Jim states about himself is brought into question because he enjoys messing with people.
But I was like, oh yeah, by the way, do you know what my popular dancing channel is? And he said, what are you talking about? And it's like, oh yeah, I have it's like 300,000 subs. And like they couldn't wrap their head around it, but people started going to look for it. I always found the idea funny to make people go look for shit.
Though the thought is absurd, it is known that Jim had various channels. Some of the more prominent are Games Good Me Bad, Jim81 Jim, Midlife Jim, and the best known at the time, Internet. While Jim often abandoned channels after a few months of use, this channel is one he came back to the most, though every now and then he will revive a different channel for important updates.
When you're trying to
Games Good
quick
Me
scope
Bad
that you
here,
fucking
and
suck.
today I just wanted to tell you a big update. At 7:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be taking a shit.
Up until
Got
late
it.
2013, this is what Jim was, an extremely small creator by intention who scattered his videos across various channels, some possibly still undiscovered, and countless videos have not yet been archived. His shift in content came with the revisiting of the Internet Aristocrat, where previously his channel at most would have a couple thousand subscribers. Now, with somewhat
Perfect, nailed it.
consistent weekly uploads, his
That's
channel has
exactly
gained
what I-
popularity like never before. In addition to this, he changed his mainstay content. Instead of making videos for the purpose of trolling, he was now creating a series that looked into internet oddities or exposed sections of communities where their culture was far removed from the rest of the internet or even just their own communities. These came in the form of Tumblrisms, the Hugbox Chronicles, and internet insanity. The way Jim typically approached the Hugbox Chronicles was to give a broad overview of a community and slowly focus on the strangers or most damaging members that
Hold on, I'm
attempt to
busy.
usurp the community to promote their own ideologies. And for Jim, censorship and discussion was always an issue.
They
God,
become
the
a part
fucking
of the
analog.
group, and then they suddenly suggest poison until it propagates and destroys. Imagine a virus injecting itself into a healthy cell and then spreading through the mechanism of the cell itself. That is what these people are. Special snowflakes are a pox upon any nation which allows them in and upon any group which will host them. Now you could watch my videos and you could say, I don't like what he says. He's abrasive. He uses language I don't like. He appears to be conservative, and I'm not.
There,
But
Athens.
at least we can have a conversation.
It is true that Jim was massively hated, but also beloved. He hardly, if ever, addressed his critics in a serious matter, which gave them far less power. And that's how he built an audience who doesn't care about his political ideologies. They are there for the content. And as they do, Jim expressed his enjoyment of viewing for talent over political beliefs.
And when he branched off from that to do the Colbert Report as the host, it made sense to me. I watched it for quite some time. I like his sense of humor, his style of delivery, his ability to get a joke across, and he played the role very well. He's a parody
Oh, there's a fucking
of a right-wing
invisible
conservative pundit. And whether you're a conservative or not, you have to admit, he can be funny, and he can make a joke that will make you laugh, even if you don't agree with his point.
The reason Jim was talking about the Colbert Report was because of a canceling that was attempted at the time. And tangentially, this sort of content was gripping Jim's channel. As was popular at this time, he was making videos on Anita Sarkeesian, SJWs, and other videos of those themes. This was Jim's role in what is known as Gamergate.
What you're looking at is a copyright claim against a YouTube user by the name of Mundane Matt on a video called Hell Hath No Fury Like a Lover's Scorn. That copyright claim was filed by Zoe Quinn, the person who is the subject of the video itself. Now, in the copyright claim, she had stated that he used a still image of her game, Depression Quest, which she's a creator of, and that she had ownership over that, and that's why the video needed to be pulled down, because it was infringing on her intellectual property. But the truth is, it had nothing to do with that. So her copyright claim had nothing to do with him using her intellectual property. What it had to do with was suppressing information from getting out. And that's something that's been going on now for the last 3 days since this began.
Go
Alongside
for it.
covering the silence of creator Mundane Matt, Jim made a couple of videos
So that
covering
was
Zoe
famous.
Quinn's infidelity, as told through her ex-boyfriend's testimony, alongside the game journalist she had relations with, who also covered her game. These videos skyrocketed in popularity, and not just for Jim.
Whoa.
Being that Mundane Matt's video was removed, he became a point of conversation.
That's an
And
old
as
one.
such, the striking effect played its role and gave his channel popularity as he became more intertwined with Gamergate. Other people jumped into the fray, such as Milo Yiannopoulos and the Ralph Report. These sorts of people were becoming the de facto figureheads of the movement, and with more ideologies and contentious individuals involved, whatever Gamergate was, it became even more confused and impossible to define.
If you were to poll the room of people that were in that, or paying attention to it, you're going to get 100 different answers. I mean, you've got demographics from all over the internet. You had Reddit, you had Tumblr, you had 4chan, you had YouTubers, you had Let's Players. They all had different reasons for being attracted to it or being interested in it. I don't know what to tell you. Anything I say about it is going to piss off a group of people. If I give one opinion one way, the people that were in it are going to hate me, and if I give you opinion the other way, the people that were against it are going to hate me. There's no good answer I can give you that's not going to get me a metric ton of shit.
With Jim saying his piece and seeing the confusion and the
Cool.
co-opting of the movement, he made an
I
announcement.
was like, this has to be here for a
Realistically,
reason.
I'm done. The channel shut down. I'll pop up maybe in 6 or 7 months. None of you are going to remember what I sound like. You're probably not going to find the channel. That's just how I prefer it. I didn't like a large audience. And to be frank with you, the whole Gamergate thing is depressing. The saddest thing about all of this is, it wasn't mainstream media, it wasn't multi-million-dollar corporations, it wasn't corrupt journalists, and it wasn't social justice warriors that killed Gamergate. Gamergate shot itself in the foot by becoming what they are fighting, and that is just too much to fucking handle.
Like outwardly,
Is Bro
you're just,
still
like,
up here?
kind of trying to vanish.
Yeah,
and,
look
like,
at Bro.
inwardly, it's like he'll, this is like my real reason, kind of deal.
Yeah, I threw it up on Poll and on V, and I was like, this is why, these were Volcaroos. It was like 4 or 5 of them, because there was like a recording limit. But it was like, basically, this is what's going on, and I think somebody saved them and then stitched them together.
Medicare in this video was both announcing his departure from Gamergate and the abandonment of the Internet Aristocrat channel. Still, not all was lost. Through his fame, or mayhaps charisma, he did manage to make a few friends during his tenure as the Internet Aristocrat.
So dreamy. That's from Jade 3D Fox. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know who you're talking about, Jade. Milo in his pearl necklace is pretty dreamy. If it was going to sway me for the other team, it probably would be that. But as I've said before, I have a thing for Asian chicks. So unless Milo suddenly changed ethnicities, it's probably not going to happen.
Jade was a creator in this space who made videos on Anita Sarkeesian and the like. She is an Asian woman and exactly Jim's type.
Jade
Okay.
Fox wants to know, would you fuck Lee Alexander for $1 million?
Fuck no, but I'd fuck Jay Fox for free.
With that, Jim got his wish, as in late 2014, things were moving along rather quickly.
How did we meet?
Where if it's
You mean
not.
us? Yeah, somebody in chat asked, how did Jade and I meet? We met online.
Bonk.
Went on 5 dates, then she moved in.
This stream is notable for strange happenings, but those won't be addressed. As for Jim's YouTube presence, the Internet Aristocrat channel was not entirely abandoned because Jim had given free access to users to upload nonsensical slop in the form of videos. Just as these uploaders took the Internet Aristocrat
Oh,
channel,
wait, yeah, I remember
Jim
telling these
took
people,
Medicare.
actually.
And in March of 2015, the Mr. Medicare channel began uploading. The header read, 24-hour ops forever doodle. The profile icon was one of a rotund man in sunglasses pointing. This man is Haberman, the former founder of the Medicare forums. The origin of the website's name, as Jim tells it, was chosen through a mispronunciation of the word mediocre.
What's the deal between you and Haberman? Are you talking about Medicare and all of that? Yeah, people have asked about that. I'll give you the
How do I?
background story if you want.
There.
I met Haberman, or as I like to call him, the Troll Lord. Back maybe 5 years ago. He was running a site called Medicare.org. Went to the website, went to the forums, made an account, ended up meeting him and a few of the other members, and just kind of joined the site. Essentially, it was mocking people on YouTube. There was something called DeviantArt Coalition for Quality Control, where we would
missed
go
it.
and find somebody on DeviantArt and critique their stuff and just shit talk them. and put up articles about that. There was what the fuck was it? Medicare After Dark, which was we'd go to people's private amateur porn pages and basically do a retsupraise of their porn videos.
Retsupraise, as Jim describes them, are in essence reaction videos with an emphasis on smack talk. The Medicare website, now entirely wiped from the internet, was famous for its trolling plans, one of which involved creating a Half-Life 2 mod that recreates real-life situations for the purpose of getting national attention. Specifically, they wanted to get on Fox News to debate on the side that defended their
Did a great job
project.
at this.
At least, that's
300
what
more
they wanted
hits.
Fox News to think.
He was going to go on television and debate Jack Thompson, and the joke was going to be when he got on television, instead of advocating for free games and creativity and all that shit, he was just going to totally agree with the host.
What?
And completely fuck with their mind.
Oh, there's an invisible.
But it never went anywhere. It kind of died on the vine.
Medicare's influence bled across the internet. Members already stuck to its main website and can be found using 4chan, the Something Awful forums, and the Encyclopedia Dramatica. The Encyclopedia Dramatica was ostensibly a wiki for trolls, infamous for its presentation of the subjects. As such, everyone was fair game, and if you made a name for yourself in this space, whether you were received positively or negatively, there would likely be a derisive article written about you. But that rule did not apply to the ED singers.
And there was this group called the EDS Singers. And the Ed Singers were just unfunny, untalented people. But because they, if I remember right, because they were paying money and donating to the site, they were considered untouchable. They had made friends with people in positions of power, and you couldn't shit talk them, and if you did, people would come after you. What ended up happening was the Sysop and Haberman and a few others got angry.
Once Haberman got the ED Singers doxxed and began a campaign of harassment, the death of the website Medicare was assured.
Well, the ED Singers somehow, through the use of a private investigator,
I'm surprised that didn't just like walk
found
me in the
Haberman's
here.
personal information, and they filed actual lawsuits against him in the state of New York and elsewhere, like civil suits. And it freaked him the fuck out, because he was anonymous. I mean, I'm sure he had Haberman, but nobody knew who he was, his name was, or any of that shit.
With these consequences all too real for Haberman, he goes to his fellow Medicare members in a panic, proclaiming that they should be left alone, yet prodding the ED Singers was not his final mistake.
And then he foolishly tells all of us, by the way, I'm going on vacation for a week. LFT's in charge of the forum.
The posting of Haberman's dogs was all Jim's idea, and so he got the brunt of the blame.
And I say good riddance to Medicare and all this stuff. Selfishly, I attribute it to the fact that I was forced to hide my own sexuality and harass my fellow LGBT peers, prolonging an addiction to pain prescription medication, stunting my emotional growth, and suppressing my sense of empathy, as well as generally enabling behaviors which I can now recognize as despicable.
That was from Haberman's final post on the website.
But if I had to be 100% honest, I think, yeah, I think he ended up getting help getting medicated, and then it just changed who he was.
Now, virtually no trace of it can be found, and most exist in the memories of its members, one of which was H. Bombergun, a now popular creator that as Haberman did, disavowed his actions on the website. A regretted action known on the internet as troll remorse.
Yeah, I like to use this. But to be fair to him, everybody was very able to give an explanation. H. Bombergun was involved in but it was pretty right?
I'll at least block my retired
focus.
these
When I said
being
that a lot of
stabbing
goons
the
came
fucking
over just
trigger
because they
bug.
were upset with like the LP stuff.
My
He was
aim's
kind of
fucking
one of
bad.
those. But we did watch Naruto porn together. That is true. Please include that. That's a bonding experience. For Medicare After Dark, Haberman wanted to do a retsupraise of like adult videos. He thought that would be funny. And he wanted to do it of like really terrible animated porn. And there was this one of Naruto.
There is a conflict of image of what Medicare was, though Haberman recalls it as a horrific place, full of life-ruining campaigns. Jim's recollection is far different.
Medicare was dumb, and it was a place to go to make the new dumb things and fuck with people. And that's all there was to it. And I think Haberman feels slighted because we stopped talking to each other, and he perceives it like I'm the devil. Because he talks about coming out, like he's gay now, and says that obviously Jim couldn't handle that. Never mentioned it to anybody at any of the Skype groups. Nobody would have given a shit. It would have been, nobody would have
By 2015, the website was gone, and relationships between some of its members were sour. Jim, as to counter Haberman's wiping out of Medicare, created that Mr. Medicare channel so that its popularity would counter the history that Haberman tried to erase. There were a few notable changes in the direction of Jim's new channel. Now largely known as Medicare, he adopted a new profile icon, one of a featureless face. The headset and the hat are of the scout from the game Team Fortress 2. The icon was used interchangeably with the image it described, or one where the figure had a weapon pressed against its head. That will not be shown because YouTube does not like that sort of thing. As for Medicare's content, he was slowly drifting away from videos that were even tangentially related to whatever Gamergate was, and starting a new series like Deviants.
P.U. pinch his nose daintily. How can you stand such a stinky stench?
In the Deviant series, he would handpick specific pieces of fetish material found on DeviantArt, or read conversations attached to the course S3. Within these, as with other series, Medicare would sarcastically adopt the mindset of the creators, or just those involved, to portray the strangeness of their thought process. One of the better examples of this is when he covered sovereign citizens, or people that thought they could use semantics to work their way out of a speeding ticket.
And this is my homemade plate, which I have made.
Now these 3 simple rules. Am I being detained? I am not driving a vehicle. I am a traveler. Are usually enough to get you out of any situation.
This was Medicare's form of storytelling, one where the audience was in on
Oh yeah,
the
so
joke,
gotta
always
go
making
through
sure not to be antagonistic towards his viewers. That's not to say that Medicare was still not getting a fair amount of pushback.
For narrative with the videos that I was doing, and threats to have me killed, have me arrested, have me sued, have my account shut down, to
I don't like
banish
this
me
guy.
from social media. It's the exact same reaction.
I mean, that's like the idea,
and
but
that's
like,
what's
still a
funniest
pain in
to
the
me.
ass.
This is 7 years later and they still react exactly the same. They still get upset and try to destroy you for laughing at silly artwork on DeviantArt.
Medicare, his humor, his selection of topics, and his nature of being a troll is what both brought ire and respect. Efforts to go after Medicare were often foiled because he is mostly anonymous and unserious in the topics that he covers. Sometimes he adopts a more serious stance, like with the infamous dentist, Howard S. Schneider.
Was that one dentist video where the dude was strapping kids down and then trying to save money and bill insurance by not using Novocaine? So he'd do dental work on 5-year-olds without Novocaine and rip stuff out and cut their gums up. That was pretty fucking horrific.
Yeah, I remember that video. That angered me because I had a dentist similar to that strapped me down when I was a kid.
In Medicare's dentist video, he is quite angry, playing the screams of children as they undergo a hellish operation by an evil man.
Howard S. Schneider. What a fucking joke.
When Medicare is pushed, he creates novel videos, none more famous than the Bathtub Ross saga.
Ross, you're retarded.
Wait.
Brandon, talk, bitch.
Dude, is this fucking Medicare? Are you actually in the call?
Oh, so yeah, I was listening to the live stream. I was just kind of curious about the bathtub stuff. Wanna bathtub?
There's
Before I say anything, it's an honor to have you as a guest on here anyways. I don't really care.
Yeah, it's an honor to have him as well.
Okay,
for me.
that's great. Can you tell me about the little kids in the bathtub, Ross? That's all I want.
Oh yeah, is pretty much the reason why is because, you know, I looked it up and I thought they were cute videos. That's really it.
See, I thought the naked kids in the bathtub were cute.
By the way, Medicare, there's an upcoming pedo video.
There we go, I just realized that I didn't have a chat window open, even though there's nobody here.
Oh, someone called me a whore in the chat? Well, fuck you. You could go.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen a lot. Okay, so what made you, what compelled you to look up, you thought that was cute. Why were you looking up naked kids in bathtubs in the first place, Ross?
Because I wanted to fucking find. I thought, like, why not?
In late 2017, Medicare was browsing through small streams and clicked on this one. Only a handful of people were watching, and none of the people on the call were of note. But the moment Medicare started listening was a moment Ross was being confronted by others about watching videos of children in bathtubs. It was then that Medicare requested to get on the stream through Google Hangouts and was let in. The twists and turns of these unfolding events would span several videos as the revelations kept getting wilder and more captivating.
I'm on the internet.
Well, I
I
don't-
1,000K subscribers. I'm Mr. Medicare. I'm a cool guy.
Oh, now
I'm
you're gonna
not the guy
roast Mr.
streaming
Medicare?
talking about naked kids in a bathtub, Ross. That's your
Well,
dumbass.
except I
So
know-
why don't you answer the question rather than being a little bitch?
Every
Ross, you
time.
don't want to go against Mr. Medicare, man.
You're the annoying piece of shit who thinks he's so, because he's
Oh,
cool
it's
on
my
the
fucking-
internet.
But stutter some more, you dumb bitch. People in the chat trying to be funny like you know fucking memes and shit. You're so out of touch. You call yourself Edge Queen. There's nothing edgy about you. You fucking hole.
You don't need to fucking know.
No,
Damn.
Asshole.
I don't need to know her. She's annoying and unfunny. Well, sadly, things did not stay very civil for long.
Despite increasing tensions, things did get back on track.
I said, how does wanting kids relate to you going on the internet and looking at naked children? How do they connect it exactly? How does that play into each other?
And you want to know why I said it was fun?
Sure.
Because honestly, like, you know, like the thing is that
Yeah,
like,
at the end.
they're playing and shit, and they're pretty much
What the
chilling.
fuck
and
is this
that's
dude
pretty
up
much
to?
what it is,
Disgusting.
Thrown into the mix now were screenshots of Ross admitting he has a problem.
You not only like bought the
Oh,
rope
no.
and tied the news, but like put your neck in
Wonk.
it. Like you're admitted that you're looking at naked kids on the internet, and then there are these conversations where you're saying you have feelings for kids and
Ew.
you need to get help. So, like, let's just cut through the shit and get to brass tacks. Are you a pedophile? I'm not saying you acted on it, but are you?
No, not really, and I didn't even act
Ooh,
on
kiss.
anything really.
Hey, Medicare, have you seen the video where he cries on
And
my
then
stream?
suffocate in your head.
Holy fuck.
Oh, he
Yeah,
has?
I've seen all the videos.
We just came here for a June the King video,
He's
guys.
out of his fucking gourd. Is he lying? I don't know. He's looking up naked pictures of the kids on the internet. He hears voices. He fights with his grandma. He explains shit. He doxes people. He sends death threats to people. And then there are people in this call trying to defend that shit and act like it's normal. You fucking lying. You know that's not normal. Don't pretend.
Dude, I'm welcoming you into this stream out of my own hospitality, dude.
How many times do I have to shit in your living room before you throw me off, Ross?
Brandon, I'm not Brandon. Ron, throw him out.
Alright,
Throw me out.
fine, you had
Kicked out of the call, the gears were now in motion. After Medical did an additional call with Ross, and the woman in the call that went as reviewed, we began making the video, and as little did we know, videos were also being made of him.
Oh well, I guess that's
I
the
win.
end of it. Not really anywhere else we can go with it. I mean, his friends were being evasive. He was being evasive. I'll have to chalk it up to one of those weird internet interactions. Or at least, that is where it would have ended. If not for the fact that 10 hours later, I was put on fucking notice when this video went live on YouTube.
Medicare, I suggest you back out before I contact YouTube and let them know that you're witch hunting a user, and that will permanently have you banned. That and your content, I mean, the fact that your intro is cringy as shit. So if
Intro
you
is
keep
cringy as
defending
shit.
them and call Ross a pedo and witch hunt him, I'll gladly have your channel banned. I mean, witch hunting is against the QOS, and that's all they can do.
That's right. Death himself, Nuclear Gamer, is putting me on notice. No more Salem of the internet for you, Jim. You can't hunt these witches anymore. And in case his message was not crystal clear, he put up another video to explain it further.
Well, Medicare is going to get some serious legal troubles happening his way.
Well, oh shit. I fucked with the wrong hombre. What was I thinking, taking on the leader of the Call of Duty clan? I'm talking about the world famous Deadly Strikers Elite Force. It has its own website, if you want to pay to visit. It has an amazing website. And Nuclear Gamer, their leader, was sure to tell everybody in the comment section that they were going to get arrested, hacked, doxxed, or even potentially get their asses kicked. Life ruination engaged. It was around this time that I decided to respond directly to Nuclear Gamer, king of the Call of Duty clan. You really fucked up now, buddy. So you got one choice. You can show the evidence, or I can get involved. I guess he didn't appreciate the sentiment because not only did he lock the comment section and disable the ratings, he pulled down all the videos
I don't have
too.
any ads.
Even a third
There's
video,
full
which I
mail.
didn't have a chance to archive or download, but was basically the same as the first two, expanding on it, letting me know that I'm going to internet jail.
There was an additional string between Nuclear Gamer and Ross, where the two doubled down on their aggression, threatening to get the police involved, though to what extent it was unclear.
I am the fucking target. Bandito and his band take my internet away forever. I'm gonna get doxxed, hacked, arrested, possibly killed because I
as he was being beamed, summarized all these happenings, and displayed some other of Ross's interesting moments, like when his grandma was telling him to take a shower.
Take your shower. Clean up. Stink. Jesus Christ. Not clean underwear. Put on some clean clothes once in a while. Jesus Christ. I'd like you to wash your hair and put some soap under your armpits.
Yeah, and then I'll decide what to do until then.
People around you will thank you.
There was also the time Ross admitted to defecating himself.
Then you can come down here and have a real life and not live with your grandparents and talk to your fucking baby that shits his pants and gets fucking fed and shit and just plays games for the rest of his life. Maybe then.
Yeah, but I stopped doing pants since I was like 11.
It's not acting. It's fucking bittersweet.
With half of Ross gaining notoriety, he was starting to get more aggressive.
You're probably noticing the timeline on this video is nowhere near done yet. That's because this is just heating up. What follows are multiple days of interaction where he and his group of friends begin to show more and more just how insane they are.
Annoying.
Medicare goes on to detail Ruby's Little's fetish, as well as some tirades Ross went on with excessive threats of violence or just expanding on other aspects of himself.
We can track you down and we can put you into the fucking red room, Neil.
Again with this super hacker shit. They're coming to get you, Jim. We're gonna put you in the fucking red room. And if you're wondering what that red room, that red bandito is going to put you in, well, that's a creepypasta. It's a fucking creepypasta story that Ross watched on YouTube and apparently believes is totally fucking legitimate. But can you blame him? I mean, he is virgin with rage.
I'm literally just a fucking virgin with rage,
That concludes part 1 of the Bathtub Ross series. Part 2 summarizes the continued degradation of Bathtub Ross and his allies as they'd stream for hours on end, threatening anyone that dared oppose him. The pressures of such had Ross wanting to end it all, and so he quite literally drank the breeze.
Destroy it.
At least I was able to drink the breeze, alright? Well, like...
So, basically, my insides are lemon fresh. I'm not sure if anybody's ever taken the time to read up the warnings that are on a freeze bottle, but it won't kill you. It's not actually lethal at all. It will, however, make you shit yourself, like massively bad diarrhea, which is what happened to Ross, as he shit himself consistently for 2 days straight.
I mean, I had to use the restroom 7 times today because it probably put, like, it was kicking in pretty much.
It's a derelict.
Now more stable than usual, he decided to be a bit more honest and came clean that he is attracted to children.
I failed to hide it, so there you go.
What were you lying about? Why did you want to lie? Why did you want to cover it up? Why were you lying?
Because pretty much I just didn't want to face that part of myself. It's borderline pedophilia, there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, like, did you mean what you said, like, you have feelings for us?
Yeah, I do need to seek help.
On top of this, Ross was also admitting that in the past, he wanted to take certain violent actions at school.
Well, not just for borderline pedophilia, but also for bloodlust as well. I was literally fucking pissed off that people were bullying me at high school.
Robot fight. Robot fight.
Shoot up the school.
No, you're not hearing that wrong. That's Ross talking about fans shooting up school. Ross being Ross wanted to immediately turn this into a pity party. He wanted to make it about him. He wanted to say how he was getting bullied and how people are just misunderstanding him. And when he was called out on that, he did what he always does.
And then people are gonna celebrate, and people are gonna fucking be unified. And then they'll be done.
Stop it. Yeah, it's a pity party. Jesus Christ.
I don't know, it's not a pity party.
Shut up, Ross.
That's actual autistic rage.
Borderline pedophile with bloodlust issues who has repeatedly made death threats against him, who is engaged in dangerous behavior, who's talking about hurting children and shooting up schools, admitting this publicly on the internet. If I were to look for a parallel for who Ross reminded me of, I would video on years back.
Got that picture right there.
He talked about his attraction to children and tried to play it off as normal and that he was not a threat to anyone.
Medicare closes the second video by bringing up a different person he covered in the past that had the same tendencies of Ross, and that, though there were interesting aspects about these obscure individuals, they can also be dangerous, and their words should be taken seriously as to avoid tragedy from their hands. For several months, this story through Medicare went untouched. It was about 6 months later that he delivered the third and final installment. In here, Ross is now denying that he had an interest in children and claims he was forced to admit a falsehood. Medicare and the audience at large was not convinced.
Just because I told you, literally, verbatim, I am a pedophile, does not mean that I am a pedophile. You need to get on my level of literacy.
There were additional developments, and Ross admitting through a leaked Discord conversation that he wants to assault an ex, and also admitted to using emotional manipulation.
But even this wasn't the reason that I decided to do a part 3. I want you to buckle up. I want you to batten down the fucking hatches, because what I'm going to drop on you should unnerve you. You've heard the statements from Ross. You've heard the things that he has said. You have an idea of what his character is, and if you watch those first 2 videos, you really have an idea of just who Ross is. But it's something he said, not only in the video he himself put up, but in the secretly recorded Discord conversation that really fucking caught my ear.
How dare I? You know, what do I know? I'm just, you know, a guy who's extremely, you know, a terrible human being. I shouldn't be around kids at all. Oh, wait. Never mind. I actually am around kids to this very day. Never mind.
Take a minute to ruminate on that.
That was Ross admitting he was a teacher's assistant. He was around children in an elementary school.
The whole fucking thing is that they don't like check me in my background or anything like that. Oh man.
Of course. Who needs background searches for teachers' aides that only volunteer 1 day of the week through community service? They just let them on in the front door.
This is the message Medicare ends his final Bathtub Ross video on. But that was not the end of his interactions with Ross. There was a scene posted by Twitter on the Saw where Medicare confronts Ross once more.
So you are a pedophile. I mean, like, seriously, like, do you think I was not going to say that, or what? So then you are a pedophile working in a fucking elementary school.
President later.
How the fuck? Oh my, you're twisting it as if anything's gonna happen to those kids.
Ross was entirely unrepentant in the stream.
Not gonna be civilized.
I honestly think you hate Ross because you fucking spread so much bullshit about me and it caused me to please interview me, Jim. And they said I'm not a pedophile.
Oh, they interviewed you? You said you are! So you didn't tell them the truth? Yeah. So you lied to the police. Are you saying you lied to 2,000 people that you lied to the police when they came to investigate you for this? What an idiot. You know what, honestly,
so
like,
dumb. Like I said, you're not delusional, you're the opposite of delusional, Jim.
Yes, he is.
Like,
he is the opposite of delusional, right?
I mean, like, people.
Yeah, no, you got it right the first time. Let's end on a high note. That's good. Opposite of delusional. Thank you.
As unrepentant as Ross was, his statements did have a real-life effect. He was kicked out of his grandma's house after she was informed of the videos, and so Ross was allegedly living in a halfway house.
But the weird twist on that is, it turns out one of the guys that was really anti-Ross and wanted to see him go to jail for this ends up getting convicted and put in prison for like 60 years for I think his little sister.
Jonathan Ross never got jail time.
From what I understand, he got put into like a, I don't know what it'd be exactly, like a home, a reform house. So I think eventually the state stepped in and they're like, we got to do something with this guy. And they put him in some kind of halfway house program for a while. Where he is now, I don't know, but he went to something for a while.
And that is how the Bathtub Ross saga ended. And there were always plentiful amounts of topics for Medicare to cover. Now more so than ever, because in early 2017, he launched his Patreon.
Has this been your longest op? Using YouTube for 10 years and now monetizing? Yeah, this has been my grand plan, really. And when you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Create multiple channels over the last decade, allowing them each to get up to a point where they become popular, and then closing them down, all leading to this one moment. It was a very long operation, but I think I planned it out pretty fucking well.
This Patreon was the first and only way, at least for now, that Medicare was making money online. He had refused to allow advertisements on his videos and stated that he would keep it that way. Yet this was getting some pushback, in part due to him being a critic of those that overly monetize their presence on the platform, among many other things. One of the larger gripes was creators not adjusting their releases to reflect their increase in revenue, as Medicare was now trying to adhere to a weekly upload schedule. And for the most part, he delivered. Sometimes he even uploaded an additional video. But when he failed to do so, this video of Medicare, now changed to portray him as a target, would crop up.
Because they're that fucking stupid. I could make it up. I could completely blow smoke up their ass, and they would fucking love it.
This video, like any other video, Medicare had virtually no effect on his image. Viewers were now more engrossed with this old, yet new thing that was rearing its head.
You're Jim, right? You're the Jim? The Jim. Okay.
That was the streamer Destiny being introduced to Medicare. The two debated on various political issues for about an hour and a half. Medicare is overall seen as the victor in the stream, as it is remembered as Medicare's intuition versus Destiny's intellect. Medicare also had the upper hand because he did not take any public stances. Even so, Medicare now understands Destiny a bit more, but go out of his way to emulate him.
Hello, I heard there was a meeting going on, so I wanted to join in.
Wonderful. We've got Meadow.
This is the 100 4 feet tall club, right? Did I jump to the right stream?
That was the Google Hangouts that hosted various online political commentators, including Destiny, who is not very tall, as Medicare enjoys pointing out.
Nick, Darian, Meadowcare, anything you want to talk about? No bullshit.
In particular. No, I'm good.
I mean, if we're opening it up to just different topics of conversation, Destiny, what brand of stilts do you use? Because
that was a nice one, dude.
Curious
I love it
about
when
that.
people that literally use a cartoon avatar build their entire personality around a topic. That's actually really funny.
Get off your high horse.
That's really good. You got any more there in your little book there? I know how long.
Little book.
You're,
I'm sure that's not
you're real excited. Keep going, my dude. What cartoon picture did you use to represent yourself for this conversation? Pretty funny, dude.
You should appreciate it. Pre-game.
You're right, man.
Medicare interjects only a short amount for the next 30 minutes and lets the serious topics be debated before honing in on Destiny once more.
So, does anyone want to make any final statements, final points to wrap up this hilarity?
Yeah, I'd love to, if I can have a minute.
Excellent. Go ahead.
I just wanted
We're a little short on time, so keep it fast.
I will. I just wanted to ask the little guy, are you still suing girls on the internet?
Ooh, I actually am not able to talk about that publicly at the moment. I'm sorry. But
You're suing somebody for hurt feelings, really?
Your advice of counsel, I'm not supposed to talk about that right now. I'm sorry. Can I just a quick comment? I appreciate the conversation. I really do. I love all of you. Even Nick, except for Mr. Medicare. I hate you. And Lauren.
I hate you too.
This was the old that was new again. It was known as IBS, or Internet Blood Sports. As opposed to physical blood sports, the internet once allowed beratement of one's opponent on their history, ongoing controversies, unsubstantiated rumors, and physical features. Nothing is off the table, as the overall goal is to win this war or roasts. A form of this conflict can be traced all the way back to 5 years prior.
It's called Battle Camp, an interactive website where audiences get to vote whether to keep the person on or not. It's the need to outdo one another.
There are many reasons why this community of creators, who are mostly made up of current or former political commentators, were easing towards IBS. One of which be that their bread and butter, the peak of whatever Gamergate was, previous to the 2016 election had passed, and so had interest in many of these figures that tried to keep the candle burning. Separate from IBS, Medicare was broadening his videos to target some of these figures. As for the ones involved themselves in IBS, Medicare points out the main 3 channels hosting this sort of content.
Really popped up to promote this would be Andy Worski with the Worski Show, Tagasa with the Morning Kumite, and Baked Alaska with the Baked Alaska Show. These are 3 different individuals. The channels are posting this as a format to go forward with, and it's been met with a very positive reaction from the audience.
Medicare also states within this video that the large-scale criticisms of creators Medicare also also helped spark IBS. After that, some of the most memorable IBS streams were the ones where creators were being exposed live. Enter Matt the Boulder Jarbo, famous for being targeted by Zoe Quinn as she used the DMCA process to take down a video of his in the past.
You can see Matt talk about this from time to time. He'll bring up the fact that Zoe false DMCA'd him, that he's sort of a big deal. He was there at the beginning, just an innocent YouTuber being abused by a bigger individual. How horrible must that feel? How fucking awful must that be?
This made Jarbo quite popular in 2014 during the height of Gamergate. But now in 2017, he was getting attention for the same reason, only he was on the other side of things.
6 years ago, I made some stupid puppet videos called Polly the Polar Bear. They were an attempt to be super edgy and ridiculous. Not the best representation of who I am. Dumb jokes have a way of coming back to bite you in the ass.
The infamous Polly the Polar Bear video is one where Jarbo, through a public figure, says the word of the day is the N-word. After the video's rediscovery, as Metacritic stated, Jarbo removed it from his channel. But mysteriously, other channels were finding it difficult to show the footage.
Oh, well, what do you know? It looks like Ethan was going to do a stream and talk about it. He was going to have people on and they were going to talk about Monday Matt's Polly the Polar Bear video. Let's pull up some footage of that and see what happens. This video has been removed for violating YouTube's policy on hate speech. What's going on here? It couldn't be the Polly the Polar Bear video, because just looking at the archive, you can see it survived on YouTube with all the algorithms and people watching it for 6 entire years. So if it was defined as hate speech, Matt would have been struck with a strike long before Ethan Ralph showing it on his stream would have been struck with a strike. And so people began to put forward what their theory was on what exactly happened with the stream. It's Monday Matt's fault. I just want to outright state that. There's no way. I'm 100% certain Matt did this.
As was tradition, they got Matt on stream to hear his side of the story.
Jim, I understand what you're saying, and I've actually publicly stated this on Twitter a couple times. There was a time period where people were making videos like Godwinson and Dame Pesos, and those videos did come down. I did not have anything to fucking do with that shit. Somebody's going out there and flagging these crap, and I swear to God, I have no idea. I've publicly said on multiple streams, stop doing it. I've tweeted, stop doing it, and people keep doing it, and then I keep getting blamed.
Jarbo attempted to pin the blame on a troll, flagging videos that included him to make him look bad.
If you look at his Twitter, it's a daily memo. Every month, Monday Matt's talking about it. Denial after denial after denial. The poor bastard just can't catch a break. And as for that coincidental timing of him being there to give an explanation of why he didn't do it, right after the stream was flagged, well, there's a reasonable explanation for that as well. Monday Matt is really Minecraft Matt, the fucking quarry king.
Because I wasn't home when I got it. I was on my way to go, like, pick rocks, literally. We found a dude in the middle of fucking nowhere who's giving away boulders. The rocks are fucking expensive. I'm just gonna put out my statement, go run this errand, pick up these boulders. I went down and picked up boulders today.
He was just doing his normal afternoon activity of bringing his child with him while he went to collect boulders off the side of the road. You know, a typical activity that we all engage in on a weekly basis. I can't tell you how many fond memories I have of growing up with my parents and having them take me out on a boulder hunt on a Wednesday afternoon.
Alongside the strange excuse Jarbo was providing were the various channels that were being targeted that made fun of Jarbo, such as Demi Pesos and Godwinson. And throughout the stream, Jarbo continued to deny he had any hand in flagging other channels. The one thing protecting Jarbo was that this was not a DMCA or a similar form of a content ID claim, as when that process is initiated, it shows who pulled down the video and YouTube is involved only minimally, as this is a legal process. A flagging, however, is something anyone can do, and is done to bring attention to YouTube of content that could be breaking their community guidelines. But perhaps it may be possible to find out who exactly flagged a video.
There is a way you can show your recording history on YouTube. I'll link it in the chat. So if you didn't do it, you should have nothing in it, correct?
Many more than oh, 200. Woo.
As was brought forward
I still need to kill
on the
trolls.
stream, there is a way to check a flagging history. This has to be done through a channel owner, and while the other participants of the stream were showing their own flagging history, Jarbo was eerily silent.
You're taking way too long, Matt. You're guilty as fuck. Take a screenshot. Well, we want to see what you reported, alright? Stop fucking around. It's been like fucking 8 minutes.
Jesus Christ,
Take a screenshot. Show it. No, I'm sick of you lying.
I'll send you an image because, look.
No, just, okay.
No, wait, I want to hear this.
All right, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Now go ahead.
Okay, let me preface this by saying.
Go ahead.
That I can get angry
Uh-oh. Matt got a little bit angry. I wonder what that could mean. What could he have possibly done? I'm innocent, guys. I haven't done what I'm accused of, but I might have done something else. I wonder what that something else is.
Let's stay on topic here, boys.
Yeah, let's stay focused. I'm really interested.
I have a lot of death, but I.
Is that
But nothing. I have been not the best place mentally.
Now wait a minute!
The discovery of
Sounds like my type of
Charles
excuse.
flagging was only half of his destruction. The second half was going back and looking at all the excuses he made in his involvement with Candid.
I bought a house, Jim. I'm having a kid, Jim. That's why I have to flag videos on YouTube. I'd like to remind you that Mundane Matt is a man who wrote a fucking book on how to handle the internet. He sells a book on Amazon. Well, sell is being generous. He gives it away for $0 and there's still no takers. The advertisers, his fellow YouTubers, the skeptic community that seemingly was a large part of this marketing push. And Matt was a part of that. Let's talk about free speech and the Candid app. Notice how there's no disclosure up top. These people are part of a community that are skeptical. They're free speech advocates. They don't lay down. They don't take it up the ass. They're there to defend you, unless you're putting a $10,000 check in their pocket. And then fuck you, am I right, Harmful? When Harmful would release a video talking about Candid or poking at Matt on social media, Matt would then, in kind, respond and tell him he was basically crazy.
The point Miniker is making is that Jarbo was also part of the promotion of this app. That was, in a way, weaponized to counter opposition of it, even though it should go against their core beliefs.
Working with a company whose business plan is to censor and fuck them over. And not just them, everybody else.
This was all covered in Miniker's The Ballad of Mundane Matt video, and a good example of how could progress ongoing feuds. But as was becoming more and more the case, certain feuds that should have only amounted to banter were taken far more seriously by their participants.
There's a term that's existed on the internet since, well, the internet itself has existed. It describes a certain personality type, a character most people would encounter on the forums that they might frequent or image boards they might visit. It's a special kind of individual. Somebody who's easily quick to anger, who lacks the ability to banter or joke with other people. When forced into a corner or a situation in which they cannot win, they will inevitably fall back upon the position of wanting to kick your ass.
I'm pretty triggered.
Oh,
I would fuck your face up so oh shit, I'm sure you would, my dude. You sound so mad right now. Oh god, you sound so mad, dude.
Oh, I'm mad. I would fuck.
You sound so triggered right now. I'm such an internet tough guy. So mad.
Destiny's opponent
That's how
in
I
that
feel on the
moment,
internet.
and who Miniker was making a video about was Tonka Saw.
That behavior has existed within him, on the internet, for at least 7 or 8 years. Every single person he would encounter who would eventually throw up a roadblock to his bullshit would sooner or later receive a challenge to fight him in real life. But as with most internet tough guys, nobody really gave him much attention. They just saw it as complete bullshit and moved on. That is until a little cokehead by the name of Andy Worski said enough is enough.
I will go to the States. I will go to the ring you want me to go to.
Miniker proceeds with explaining who Worski is, from his involvement in IBS, the fabricated information about him and a minor, and the poor advice he received from Tonka Saw. This presents the feud between the two and why Worski, unlike other people, readily took up Tonka's offer.
Shockingly rare occurrence, an internet tough guy actually had to put his ass on the line. And that is thanks to Tara LaRosa. Now, Tara, a sometimes guest on the Morning Kumite, had heard that Tonka and Andy were having an argument. Tonka had said that he could set up a fight, that he could arrange the details of it, but he was running into some difficulties. And out of nowhere, Tara said, she'll have it set up in 5 minutes. And she wasn't kidding.
Worski took this seriously and the event was being hyped up, but also sabotaged, according to Miniker.
Tonka spent his time trying to throw any wrench he could into the gears, trying to slow it down. While on his show, he would talk massive amounts of shit, saying how he was going to badly hurt Andy Worski. And come January 19th, only one man would be standing in the arena. Or maybe standing is the wrong way to put it.
To elaborate on what Shamir has been saying, Andy Worski's making his way to the cage. His opponent, Tonka Saw, did not show up.
Tonka was a no-show, sabotaging the match by not sending his ID or even blood work.
Tonka Saw
Wow.
refused to sign the contracts asked him, and sent in multiple names under the contract and the blood work. They even follow up on this in a later paragraph. Mr. Tonka Saw sent in someone else's blood work and ID. He did not make it to Tennessee.
Medicare also goes through some of Tonka Saw's lies. Unlike the Matt Video and Blood Sports events, Medicare had no direct involvement in these happenings. This is because, at this point, Medicare had created distance with IDS, just like he did with Gamergate because of how obscure it was becoming.
You got doxing and swatting and pedophilia. You got infighting and Discord spies and all of this other shit. I don't know how this happened. You know, there's streaming shows on the YouTube. There's streaming shows on YouTube.
Cool.
How did any of this happen? How did any of this shit come to me? It's fucking streaming shows on YouTube.
Medicare's intuition in the spaces he inhabited was remarkable. He knew when to jump ship when things were going awry. He also, unlike some contemporaries, remained consistent in keeping things to banter, avoiding bloody incidents of imagination or any similar serious threats. Additionally, when he did take part in IDS, he was always a strong competitor that was attacked in many ways. His anonymity negated any roastings of his appearance, controversies, any heavy-hitting things. Even when he was gone, he still relied the legal history of his that came out.
Look at all these nifty screen caps that should give you the gist of Jimothy's legal dealings regarding his ability or inability to register, insure, or non-drunken drive a car. Can we really be surprised by that? Do we know Irish people that aren't fucking excessive alcoholics?
Another element of Medicare's strategy of detachment was his rule of no online friends.
But I feel like whether you want to admit it or not, you know, you have made some friends because...
No, you're just people on the internet to me. I mean, I've been pretty consistent with that for years. I mean, if you know, we can show up on a stream together and banter or yell.
Yeah, we have a mutual affection. That's a friendship.
The people Medicare interacts with could be quite unstable, which could be a reason for this rule. This rule also assists in being straightforward in his intentions, and that he will prod at anyone that embarrasses themselves online. Even Worski with the infamous Aim stream. But because YouTube is a public channel of videos showcasing people brandishing weapons, this event cannot be shown to its fullest. The gist is that Worski in Florida, after a verbal confrontation with 3 other individuals at a bar, walks off with his 2 pals. A fair amount of time passes, and then the victims catch up to Worski and his friends. More than Worski convinces his friend to pull a gun through his words. This resulted in Worski and friends calling the police, but in a turn of events, because Worski's friend Alex pulled a gun that was not fired, there were still charges filed against Alex. 3 aggravated assault and 1 absent assault. Medicare had a deal with against likeness, the stranger the better. That's why his interview the next day, a lesser-known star known by him for his portrayal of Manhunter in the short-lived 1980 series Photon was memorable.
I talk shit, okay? So I push it on people. You know who? I'm gonna tell you, he set me up. Barack Obama, he set me off. I was getting ready for work, and everyone, I don't have a television. But I have a TV, right? My TV's always background noise. So I'm getting ready to go to work, all right? And I don't know what he said before. I don't know what he said after. And I cried on this day. I cried this day. All I heard was this. And for all you flat earth, tinfoil hat wearing people. And I looked up, I said, what the fuck did he just say that for? I said, why would he say something like that? And you know what I found out that day, pal? There was actually, I have nothing to do. But there was an actual flat earth society. And I wasn't fucking alone.
Or some might have questioned Stay's conspiracy theories, Medicare let him talk. In this way, bringing only minimal confrontation allows him to express his stranger yet more entertaining thoughts. And though Stay did have highly irregular perspectives, his intent of kindness made him a likable person within the stream's eyes.
I'm a man that is cared. And I care about everyone. And I want to make a hot damn difference on this hot damn planet. It doesn't matter how many people. And that's my goal in life. So, tomorrow, but
From blood sports to leading Bloodsport to covering events around blood sports and continuing his mainstay series, this is what Medicare was from 2017 but probably was brewing.
So the Patreon thing happened first. That was for the Transcasting Tales videos I did. So I did a video and I didn't go on YouTube, so I put it up on BitChute. And somebody at Patreon saw it and didn't like it, and that was the end of my Patreon, and that's why. And then I started getting, I got a strike on, I got a strike on one of my YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, this is, they're gonna try to just completely shut me down. So my idea was, they can't, like you were like, oh, I can't be doxxed because I'm already doxxed, right? My image is out there. So I was like, well, you can't strike my videos if I don't have any videos.
Yeah.
So I took down all my videos, and I was like, now let's see what you're gonna do, Susan. Hi, Mr. Medicare. Oh my God, so formal, they even called me Mr. During a recent review, our team of policy specialists carefully looked over the videos you've uploaded to your channel, and we found that a significant portion of your channel is not in line with our partnership program. As of today, your channel is not eligible to monetize, and you will not have access to monetization tools and features. Let's go find out exactly what the violation was so I can learn from it to become a better content producer on this amazing platform. Account status currently ineligible for monetization. Here's why your channel wasn't approved. Reused content. I'm going to look through all my videos to see which ones that weren't compliant with this special list that works for YouTube. They must have seen something I overlooked. Where can I begin my journey? I know. I should go look at my uploaded videos and just start going through them one by one. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have any fucking uploaded videos.
Quote, so I woke up today to a few videos that were yanked on my YouTube with the typical warnings about rules and regulations. Well, it makes it even more insane than the choices. The We Was Kings video, which was pretty popular and aimed at laughing at the Kemet and Black Israelite communities for years. I tried appealing it, and within 15 minutes got a response saying the strike was valid and the video wasn't stated. The other video was a minute long in length, with me dubbing JonTron back into Ukraine, and at that point I stopped trying, unquote. At the bottom of this community post, Medicare states that this is why he deleted all of his videos, because even if unlisted or made private, YouTube will still use whatever content to apply strikes and take a channel down, as they did with the channel of Dickie Jones a year prior. As for Medicare, though his strikes were likely done to eradicate his channel, there was a shift in content during this time. As Medicare mentioned, How the Sausage is Made was uploaded to BitChute and not YouTube. The video covers the surgeries and is highly graphic with no censored. This is a video on a mostly partisan topic, presented graphically and more serious than his other videos. After his channel was demonetized, the next month, still uploading on different platforms, he uploaded Slip and Slide.
Bad things don't just happen at once. The worst of the worst damage that could ever happen to a group of people or to a society is a death by 1,000 cuts. It's incremental changes, almost imperceptible changes, argued only on their singular points, taken out of context of the bigger picture, that allows you to reach an end where the National Guard are coming to take your guns, and your son is in a dress getting fucked by a pedophile.
That video was about homosexuals.
And I know there's nothing more that people fucking like, I get this, because I run into this too. Where you're watching a channel, and you like the fucking content, right? And you're watching all the series, and then suddenly they come in with their hot political takes. And you're like, please, dude, come on. You're fucking killing me. So I try my best to keep it up, but I never hit. Just from an audience perspective, I try to keep my focus on the series, but every once in a while I get like a hair on my ass while I do a political thing. And so Slip and Slide is kind of like my take, what I saw as where things were kind of going. And I tried to set the best I think a lot of the points are pretty fair considering where we are right now.
There was something more aggressive going on within Medicare's content that started and stopped within those two videos. And there was something going on with Medicare that was only getting worse.
They've given my household a gift that we've been dealing with for a month now. We'll call it the tuberculosis fairy. So, It's just been interesting. Don't leave your house if you're in Minnesota unless you have a fucking hazmat suit.
In 2019, his health, specifically his immune system, had not improved. To add to these stresses, in late 2019, after being demonetized, he began a new career path.
As you can see, I'm by the interchange on the outskirts of town. We've got some gridlock going on, bumper to bumper traffic, but what a beautiful day. Stuck in that pristine skies ahead, and a rain cloud in sight. Visibility so clear that you can even see Susan write me that check for money she owes.
As his stick handler, even horrendous traffic accidents.
Oh my God, Ken Studio, can you hear me? There's a driver veering all over the road. I don't know what he's doing. Oh my God, look at the speed that he's going. He's got to be, it's 100 miles an hour. Oh my God, look at the size of those flames. I can smell the bodies burning, Ken. It smells like cooking pig out here, Ken. Survivors, they're coming over towards me. Sir, are you okay? Oh my God, his skin is just falling off his body. There's smoke everywhere, and he's dead.
This change in content was part of a strategy.
I'm like, okay, I'll play along. I'm going to do weather videos. I'm going to do weather videos where it's just my voice, and I do stick figure drawings in MS Paint, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it worked. I got remonetized, and my channel came back.
He fell back on streams as his mainstay content, but these were inconsistent and often months apart. And then for more than a year, there were no streams. The answer to his absence could be found in his Twitter. In 2020, he revealed he has indolent lymphoma. Here, Medicare stating he is losing approximately 3 pounds a week.
Ended up going into a dermatologist who took a look at the scalp. Like, yeah, that's a tumor. Let's do a biopsy. You know, and it started off with obscure things that didn't really connect into the cancer.
Oh shit, cool.
So, you know, I lost my appetite for 6 months and dropped about 45 pounds, couldn't eat, and then had like a weird pancreatic attack where the lipase level is just through the roof, and then the next day it's back down to normal. Kidneys started acting weird. They're getting weird creatinine levels. They're getting weird adrenal gland readings. And then it just goes back to normal.
Medicare has cancer, but not exactly, and has an autoimmune disorder, but not exactly. The continuous struggle was trying to get an exact diagnosis, but his symptoms were as severe as they were constantly changing.
Now, there's been some questions about my health. I'll get that out of the way as quickly as possible, because who wants to hear depressing things? Yes, I did get sick. Yes, I am still sick. Going through the Clinomics program at Mayo to try to figure out what it is. Those of you unfamiliar with what Clinomics is, it's fucking research medicine. So that's always fun. Now, I know that some people have called it a question if I have cancer or not. I heard that Mersh said that. In fact, you might want to be careful, chat. I also heard that Mersh told people if you donate to me ever on any live stream I do, he's going to be very disappointed in you.
Mersh, in the Twitter, was insisting in putting forth the idea that Medicare was faking his illness. In a space that is highly paranoid, these rumors do tend to float around, especially when money is involved. To that extent, Medicare was promoting his merchandise, specifically his hats. He had been selling his iconic 4 out of 5 stars hats off and on, something that started to raise funds for a potential lawsuit that never formed. But now in 2021, being inconsistently monetized on YouTube, this was his main source of income and why he is referred to as a hat salesman.
Hats, ladies and gentlemen. Buy a hat for your hat.
Oh shit. Cool angel faces, damn.
A simple yet memorable line. With Medicare's health on a constant decline, this was a rallying cry of sorts. Money raised for its possible mounting Medicare bills. But even though Medicare has many fans, there are still a fair amount of people that want to bring his destruction. Some insulting his wife or threatening to show up at his house, etc.
Fuck you, crazy Korean.
Come on, you make me religious.
Yet Medicare never reflected those life and tactics, even if he did get visited a couple of times.
1 second, chat. 1 second, chat. Not have visitors.
Not all visitors are welcome.
Had a little gift left on my lawn. A little gift left on my lawn. Now, yeah, fun fact, I do have cameras around the house when I show the swatting footage, everything like that. But generally, if people are just having a bit of a goof for fun or whatever, I don't usually put up footage because everybody tries to be so shy and coy about it. I could be dropping off potatoes, or running up a cart or something like that. Actually, I'm not going to do it. But notice somebody with a sled out in the street at like 10 at night trying to be stealthy. And then, what do you know? What's sitting at the front yard? What's been built up in the front yard? A snowman.
This footage came from his quote-unquote final stream.
As you know, this will be our final stream. Jim is riding off into the sunset. He's going to go do Jim things.
Medicare did plan on this being his final stream, but it was only the final stream of 2022.
We last left off with our Truman Show exit. I was pretty clear that I was going to die. Had everything set up. Was looking resolute. But to catch you up, chat, on why Jim is crawled out of a fucking coffin for the time being. To sell you beautiful fucking tats. We all love good tats.
Medicare came back to earn money, to entertain, and announced that he would possibly show his long list of symptoms to try to crowdsource a diagnosis, as now in August of 2023, 3 years since the discovery of cancer, things have progressed to the point of having multiple heart attacks and a broken back, and still doctors are unsure what exactly is wrong with him. The fuller extent of symptoms were revealed in a stream that took place March 2024.
Jim's faking everything. Jim doesn't have a wheelchair. Until Jim showed him the wheelchair that Jim until Jim posted pictures of his wheelchair to shut Brian up. And then Brian all of a sudden retreated into retarded. So I'm really looking forward to finding out what Mersh is going to say as we go through this. I put together a little collage, and I had to be smart about it. Now, there are reasons I have to be smart about it, and I'll show you why. Because these people are insane.
What is this?
They're literal insane retards. Now, Mersh likes to say that, oh boy, Jim's died 4 times, Jim's faking his illness and all this. And I've talked about being sick, and I've gone over it when people have asked in Super Chats, and I talked about it when I had my heart attack. It shows the date of implantment and everything else, because they put you on medication where you'll die if they cut into you. Or if they put you in an MRI machine, it will rip it out of your fucking chest if it's too strong. But of course, again, this is all fake bullshit. Jim's not, maybe Jim actually had heart attacks and had a stent put in. But Mersh is right. Jim's just been faking everything. So let me put a background track on here. I like to call this all the tests that Jim has had over the last 4 years. Do you guys have 5 minutes? Just pause at any point to read through.
The scroll of tests done on Medicare goes on for 15 minutes. There are also the review of health issues Medicare has to deal with, from cancer, hypertension, hearing loss, osteoporosis, heart issues, severe inflammation, and rib and back fractures.
I know, too. You've also asked the question, boy, why won't you die, Medicare? Well, I know Ralph asks that all the time. He maybe has a legitimate reason. Because we fucking hate each other. You, I don't get so much. But you ask things like, why won't I die? We held 4 funerals for you. Why are you streaming? Why are you spending your time differently? I'll tell you, it's very simple. I swore to myself when I started getting sick and when I knew I was going to die, that I would set it up so that my wife wouldn't have to deal with it. So that when I die, they could throw my ass in an oven, cremate me, scatter the fucking ashes, and everything's on autopilot. That she's set up to be fine. That she's taken care of. That there isn't a weight hanging over her head. I'm sorry that I'm taking too long to do it, or that I'm sticking around to sell a few hats. But, you know, it's part of the responsibility of being in a marriage and having, people survive you. It's one of the reasons I didn't have kids. My dream for my life was very middle of the road. Most people would become like YouTubers. Oh, I want to be famous. Oh, I'm going to meet all these fucking people, these TikTok sluts, and drive Lambos and do all that shit. My dream for my life, whether it's through YouTube or other means, was to have a normal suburban house, have a couple of pets, be married, and have some kids. That was it. And I was very close to it.
That is the core of Medicare, a creator known for his consistency. Hated or liked, where other creators fell through the cracks, when even just measly pressure was applied, he remained stalwart. From Gamergate, IBS, his constant bans, to dealing with his degenerative, debilitating illness that no one can diagnose. Medicare, a simple hat salesman, was always able to make the best of it with his trademark smoker laugh.
theory.
Wrap it up and
Find
go
the
die?
main travel control system, and then we'll be off.
Is this the point where I get sappy and I say something emotional? Am I supposed to give great life advice now as I finish this out?
Wait a minute.
Is this where I tell you something you already know, and you all have to pretend like it was insightful and deep? Listen, I just like to laugh at dumb shit on here, and I think you do too. I think that's what we all like to do. Life is hard enough. There's a lot of tragic shit out there. The world's a scary place. But it's nice to have the ability to laugh at goofy shit.
This is my childhood Xbox 360. I know this baby better than the back of my hand because I've seen it more than I've seen either of my hands. Before getting this thing, I was like constantly begging my parents to help me save up my weekly $5 allowance so that I could buy an old, crusty, used 360. You see, I really loved games that came out in 2008 and had Unleashed in their name, that being Sonic and Star Wars The Force. The thing is, I'd only ever played the inferior Wii versions of those games, and I'd seen footage of those games running on this machine, and I just needed to experience what the true next generation of gaming felt like. But instead of saying yes, my parents put me on a treadmill with a 360 controller hanging from a string just out of reach. They told me I wasn't even allowed to buy an Xbox with my own money because I already had too many game consoles. Man, an upper middle class childhood is so hard. You see, this model though dropped in mid-2010, and my parents got it for me that same year. Turns out they weren't being jerks, they just didn't want me to waste $150 on something that already bought me. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. You can't slip me for the greater good. Yeah, basically we played these Unleashed games until they were nothing but skin and bones. But as I aged and became a fully grown middle schooler, the childlike ability to just endlessly replay a 5-hour-long game slowly deteriorated. I simply required more to be stimulated. And that came in the form of Xbox Live. The day this thing got connected to the internet was the day my social life died and became reborn online. And on top of that, at some point, a copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 magically materialized in my house. Booted it up on a whim, and yeah, I was hooked. After playing the campaign 40 times, I began my next year-long crusade of asking my parents to get me Xbox Live Gold. That way I could play the online multiplayer, just expand my horizon. The whole thing took a lot of fending
Oh
off
my God.
bogus arguments of online stranger danger and racism. But eventually my hard work paid off, and I was successful. And you know, hey, over a decade of use, several thrown controllers, and thousands of hours of playtime clock later, this thing still works. And it's pretty easy for me personally to say that this little box in all its forms was magical for me and for a lot of other people out there who grew up on it. The 360 itself sprung onto the scene just as the World Wide Web first started indecently exposing itself to every household in America. It was the sequel to the successful original Xbox and followed the 2003 launch of Xbox Live on said first Xbox, where some of the first ever instances of long-distance teabagging took place. And the 360's version of Xbox Live would go on to practically shape online gaming as we know it, even as it is today. This thing created a whole connected social layer across your whole sad little gamer life. For the first time, you too could catalog everyone you'd recently encountered across all the different games that you got called slurs on. Then you could message any of them and predict their future.
So yeah, you're gay.
The thing is, being able to play online on this machine at all was kept behind a monthly subscription. Meanwhile, its competitor, the PlayStation 3, had online play for free. You know, intuitively, this should have made it the preferred place to play with your friends, but there is exactly one human being on Earth who talks about PSN the way the rest of us do Xbox Live. And you don't hear from them because they're busy mourning the death of PlayStation Home. The reason that the Xbox Live community is seen so much more fondly is because, in part, they just got there first, they were quicker on the draw, but I would say the main reason is because of the culture that Xbox Live created. What some people might consider flaws of the service actually gave it a lot of its identity. From the aesthetic of the really shit mics to having to pay for access, it felt like pressing that big Xbox logo in the middle of your controller took you to a real place, an exclusive club, where being a part of that group came with prestige. Also, PSN did not have party chat, so that probably hurt a lot.
Can I dick slap you?
But like
Wait,
seriously,
I got
we
gun.
literally had COD sniping clans reenacting segregation. For the better part of a decade, and this is real, you were not allowed to be a FaZe member if you didn't play on the 360. For me though, the Xbox and Xbox Live alongside it became like a physical place in my house. I would get home from school every day and immediately sit my ass down on the couch to hop on Halo Reach and mess around in Forge, or run some Nuketown 1v1 sniper matches with my friends both IRL and online. And that was a point in my life where I desperately needed a place like that. 6th grade was fucking dookie and I was depressed all the time, but through it all, I had my Xbox. In this machine, I had this little slice of community that was insulated from everything actually going on around me. This little guy became sacred to me, like a loved one. So when my mom banned me from the Xbox for 2 months because I got a C in math, I was devastated. My virtual 3rd place, my safe space was gone, and my grades didn't even get any better because of it. It might be an overstatement to say that I became codependent on this machine, but it works. But its absence did leave an Xbox-shaped hole in my sternum that still bleeds to this day. And I only got my 360 permission back when on my birthday, Mom said I could play it again, but only for the birthday. And I'm like, yeah, I bet. But then the day ends, and I tried to test something bold. I played it the next day to see if she would stop me, and she never did. This experience made me realize I am an idiot. You see, she had only ever said that I couldn't use the Xbox, and my dumbass just listened. She never hid it or moved it somewhere else. It just sat unused in the same spot, hooked up to the TV the entire time. I could have just lied. Still, the pain I felt during that all gave me the perspective I needed to realize how lucky I was to have avoided a fate far worse than getting grounded. That is of the infamous Mark of the Beast, the Red Ring of Death. These days, the Xbox 360 is looked back at mostly with nostalgia and regarded by many as the greatest video game console of all time, hailed for its revolutionary online capabilities and banger slate of exclusive games. And when the 360 first came out in 2005, most people were over the moon playing Call of Duty 2. This power button was magical. When you pressed it, it would light up a brilliant green, and 4 green lights around the button itself indicated how many controllers were connected to the actual Xbox. The thing is, it did not take long for rumors to start spreading of consoles breaking right after they got out of the box. If you got on the green ring's bad side, it would start seeing red and shine 3 blood red lights at you that said, "Congratulations, you now own a $400 brick." As time passed and 2006 was well underway, these proved to be much more than rumors as more and more 360s succumbed to the 3 red lights. That symbol took on a legend of its own and earned the Daedric artifact-sounding name of the Red Ring of Death, inheriting its namesake from Microsoft's other icon of sin, the blue screen of death. It felt like this thing was everywhere. It got news coverage, affected stock prices, and everybody was talking about it online all the time. Gamers truly lived in fear that their Xbox might be next, and it felt impossible to find someone who didn't have a Red Ring story of their own. And we're talking exponential growth over time here. The more time that passed, the bigger the issue seemed to get. Meanwhile, Microsoft didn't say a single word about the Red Ring. Their house was on fire, and they seemed pretty relaxed about it. The loss of an Xbox 360 sent countless people into pure desperation. Some people were smashing their console to pieces in their frustration, while some people tried to bring their beloved Xbox back to life by following WikiHow tutorials or sometimes just sticking it in a fucking oven. At its climax, it felt like just about every 360 in the wild was doomed to die from the Red Ring, and it threatened to take the entire Xbox brand down with it unless Microsoft did something. So, after about a year and a half of doing what felt like nothing, Microsoft finally acknowledged the problem existed. They did do more than that, though. They promised to fix every 360 that Red Ringed for free. Microsoft covered all of the costs of the process for every customer that was affected on their own dime, and that shit was not cheap. The Red Ring of Death is one of the most expensive and widespread wonders in consumer electronics history. It has permanently branded itself onto not just the legacy of Xbox, but the entire gaming industry and even beyond. The Red Ring is referred to today as the exact kind of disaster you should take every possible step to avoid when building something of your own. But on the other hand, the Xbox 360's response and recovery is often cited as the exact way you should respond if this does happen, where no matter how deep in the hole you get, you don't just give up. And sitting on those 2 connected examples of opposite extremes, it made me really think. With how big this Xbox of wonders takes up in my brain and my memories, I started to realize just how little I actually know about it. Like, what actually was the Red Ring? Where did Microsoft even get the gumption to make a console? They were already like a bajillion-dollar company. I wasn't satisfied with what I found by just like skimming stuff, so I went deeper and deeper and deeper, and now this video is 2 hours long. It is a story that goes back to the origins of where the X and Xbox came from. The Xbox brand, and by extension the Red Ring, was a perfect storm of circumstances. Financial to technological advancements experience, the culture of Xbox as a company, the gaming industry, and even the world at large. It all came together to create one of the greatest consoles and one of the most bizarre fuck-ups in gaming history. And it does get grimy down there. So before we get into the down and dirty stuff, I want to tell you about something I've been unironically really excited about. I have struggled to keep my trap shut about this for the better part of a year. G-Sub's cup. This design is quite frankly unhinged, and I'm not sure how I got away with half the shit on this work of art that I did. Also, did I mention that it's double-sided? You got the Canon-accurate ass and the newly added titties. I know so many of y'all feel some kind of way looking at me, and especially feel it with this image. Look at it! And I finally found a solution. You can now drink directly out of me. Have fun with that. I'm gonna turn the irony off for a second here. I've genuinely been working on this thing for so fucking long. I got really annoying about small details, like which part of the cup should be transparent, things like the position of the tentacle under my mask, and of course the size of my ass, obviously. Listen, y'all gotta see this. The lid is green like me, the cap is black like my sunglasses, and the shaker inside is blue like my mask, okay? I just think it's neat, even if it sounds stupid to have those feelings over something like this. I have them. G-Subs has been so fucking sick at helping me make something really special to me, and I'm not just talking about the cup. You've probably noticed by now that I look a little different, like physically. Well, yeah, this hoodie is like the first piece of honest-to-God clothing I've dropped in like 3 to 4 years, and I wanted to make it really special. You've got like the different colored cuffs, the general color blocking, the tentacle going down the one arm. You can put this on and fulfill all your dreams of getting inside me easily. But one thing I haven't gotten to show y'all yet is the back. Y'all gotta peep this. I promise that I'm not just flooding to show you my ass that's only part of it, but look at me, I'm literally staring at you. Isn't that awesome? If you guys want to see more of it, it's gonna be in the corners,
Nice.
on the wall, the whole video. I gotta be so real, the G-Subs, shirts, hoodies, pants, and every other piece of clothing they make are the genuine most comfortable clothing I own. Potential TMI warning. I don't know if y'all know, but I have like generally sensitive skin and also a skin condition called hyperhidrosis. It basically causes me to sweat excessively. I have meds for it, but even then, like, I still get like rashes really easily because of it, like around my neck. And having the clothes that G-Subs make out of the materials they do has been like a godsend for me. You can get everything I've just shown here at the first link in the description and get 10% off anything on G-Subs with my code QUITE, including all of my stuff. Turning the irony off for a second, I really can't thank G-Subs enough for making this video possible, as well as helping me make my first clothing drop in forever, something that I'm really proud of, as well as these babies. Either way, thank you again for making it possible for me to do this kind of shit. Both the video and the cup with the ass cheeks on them, but it means the world to me that I get to do this day in, day out.
Hello, my fellow Americans. Buy my shaker cup. And this is Xbox Origins. Wolverine.
All right, listen, the thing is, Microsoft is an old-ass company, so to really get this, we have to go back to the beginning. From when Microsoft were still just the software dorks who made Windows. You see, software includes the video gaming, and you should know that making games on Windows has always been freaking epic. Microsoft's revolutionary PC software was called WinG, which made it easier to create and play games on Windows than ever before. And Microsoft wanted to make a big show of what WinG could do, too. So they shot for the moon and sidled up to Disney, yes, Walton, middle name Disney Afton with puppy eyes, and convinced them to let Microsoft port the incredibly successful Lion King game to Windows. Microcock told Disney that they would market the game as an official product on Windows 3.1 for that Christmas. Hopefully to make money, but also to show how sick, nasty gaming on the Windows machine could be. Disney is all in. They say yes and send out 300,000 copies of the Lion King game for Windows 95, prepping for major success. When the big day came around, that powder keg was ready to blow, as in blow ass, blow jobs if you want to make it an Apple thing. The Windows Lion King port was a 4-bats career level disaster. There was a critical core error in it that made the Windows version of the game crash more than Kia Soul drivers. The PR look was obviously terrible. Where this break that Microsoft willingly stepped on handed every game developer who already believed Windows was awful for PC gaming all the evidence they needed on a gangrene-covered platter. Worse yet, thousands of parents were pissed off that the game they bought their kids for Christmas ended up making their kids cry. Child havers were flooding Disney's customer service lines and demanding a solution to the issue. So Disney, getting straight grease burns from entrusting their beloved IP to Microsoft, came at the company with the full force and extent of Disney's legal team. So yeah, I'm a big fat lying liar. Making games on Windows was not awesome nor epic. It actually sucked. Lion King compatibility patches eventually got pushed out, which smoothed over issues with the game and massaged tensions on both ends. But it made Microsoft realize they had a problem. It wasn't just sentiment. As far as anybody could tell, making and playing PC games on Windows actually just blew sexy red level ass. You see, throughout the 80s, DOS or Disk Operating System was the the most used operating system, or OS, on personal computers. PCs, if you want to be politically correct. But by the early 90s, Windows held a bigger chunk of flesh in the homunculus that was the OS market. This is because it was just more capable than DOS, who had its legs and lowest hanging testicle in the grave already. Despite that, though, most PC games were still developed for and played on DOS, mostly because, again, doing those things on Windows sucked. And by games, I mean Doom. DOS nerds loved playing Doom. Microsoft didn't like that. They wanted that games on Windows, so they needed something better than WinG. The skeleton of a solution formed in the minds of three ambitious dorks at Microsoft. One, Alex St. John, a Craig Eisler, and an Eric Enstrom, who tragically passed in 2020. Rest in peace. These three have often been referred to as misfits in Microsoft, and they also became known as the Beastie Boys because of how obnoxious to upper brass they were. The three had to fight off attempts to fire them multiple times. Both these monikers came from the fact that the baby they were birthing was made without any consent from Microsoft. A fetus lovingly named Game SDK. Behind the scenes, the Beastie Boys had a funnier name for their infant, internally calling their unsanctioned sideshow the Manhattan Project. Dubbed so because these tools were meant to disrupt Japan's domination of the gaming industry. You know, like the nuclear bomb did in World War II. This has aged incredibly well. Game SDK / the Manhattan Project was meant to be a clean slate for everything gaming related on Windows. It was a new suite of tools that would make games run better and easier to develop on Windows than it ever was with WinG. Passion motivates us all, and the tools were coded under crunch that would make stepping on a leaf in the fall seem quiet. The hope was to give Game SDK a grand reveal at the Computer Game Developer Conference, nowadays known as just GDC, in April 1995. Craig Eisler had only started to code Game SDK in December 1994, where that first version was only held together with spit, duct tape, and hours of missed time watching your children grow up. Eisler finished a barely working build of Game SDK just the night before GDC. At the event, when it was revealed, a journalist made a passing comment that dominoed into one of the mightiest gaming empires that had ever managed to collapse under its own. You see, every tool in Game SDK had direct in its name: direct draw, direct sound, one direction, direct play, and this unsung branding savant joked that the tools were direct, as in direct access. It was meant in a kind of mean and mocking way, only for the team to just run with that anyways on some Deku shit. The legacy of this X runs long and is the literal cross that Microsoft built their gaming chapel on. And DirectX's reveal got the Beastie Boys some credibility at Microsoft, but the tools were not in the state that they could be released in, and because of that was nowhere to be seen at the August 1995 launch of Windows 95. It took 4 more months of superhuman / subhuman crunch from that GDC in April all the way till September 1995 for the first version of DirectX to be C-section out of the womb and revealed to the world. It was launched on Windows 95 as simply Windows Game SDK. Yeah, it's awesome, but the problem was most developers still thought Windows had the stench of the show, and they weren't willing to give a shot at making games on it. DirectX needed a big proof of concept to show what it could do. It needed to succeed,
that works.
Ryan King had failed. Alex St. John's idea was basically going to gaming companies and saying, "Please give us your source code. We'll port it to Windows for free, and if you like it, you can even sell the port for money, maybe?" :3. He said that :3 out loud somehow, but the Hail Mary that DirectX needed came from Archangel Gabriel Newell. Newell also thought that games currently sucked on Windows, but there was a chink in the armor, or an Asian if you're politically correct. You see, Newell estimated that Doom was the most installed program in the world, existing on more PCs than Windows itself. The only thing that gamers in the 90s knew how to do was eat hot chips, play Doom on DOS, and there is no third thing. Gamers would get Doom running on a treadmill so that they could play Doom while running on a thing running Doom if they could. And the obvious punchline is that they already did that. So the mission for the DirectX team wasn't just to get Doom running on Windows, but to make the Windows port the definitive version of the game to play. Alex St. John secured the support of Doom's creator John Cormack, and his polyamorous team of engineers got to work getting Doom not just running, but flying on Windows using DirectX. What resulted was Doom 95 releasing in August 1996. Doom 95 included not just Doom, but Doom 2 and Final Doom as well, with features that were completely exclusive to Windows at the time, like a hyper-realistic 640 by 480 pixel screen resolution and a streamlined ability to run custom maps and multiplayer matches. They successfully made it the best version of Doom that you could physically play, and a success like that deserved a celebration. But that celebration was also an opportunity for Microsoft. Good games aside, Microsoft still reeked of a different kind of stench sterile corporate office. They were seen as the corporate tech giant that was cold, calculating, and for Silicon Valley dweebs. The company needed to not only prove that games worked on Windows, but that Microsoft's culture was one that nurtured the process of making games. The place that was full of games, not just an anti-art profit-making machine. So they got wacky. The Doom 95 launch party is said to have featured the stuff from Legends. It had a live performance from fucking War, haunted house areas to explore, and theme development. Where in software, the studio's still behind Doom to this day.
I don't understand how Cricket works. If anybody would like to explain it,
That had
that would be
100
fantastic.
penises strung up hanging off said
It is
cooter.
a joke, I think. I don't actually want Cricket explained to me, please, and
Execs
thank
were
you.
not very happy with the 4-foot schlong spraying blood, and if executives didn't like that, then the main attraction probably gave them hernias. This is a clip of a video that played on a big-ass screen during the party the whole night.
These games are getting really realistic. We think the PC really is the entertainment platform.
Oh shit, I have a limited time to go get the...
Is to make the tools, to make the
I was busy doing something else.
and better.
Hold on, in the middle.
That is authentic footage of Bill Gates in a school shooter trench coat pretending to kill demons inside of the Doom video game, 1993. Absolute cinema. Bill Gates, the man that many saw as corporate enterprise personified, was apparently down to have a little fun with the whole thing and just do some stupid, hokey shit. It was an attempt to tell developers, hey, Microsoft is more than a corporate hell. We also have whimsy. As the 90s neared their end and trudged towards the new millennia, the bets Microsoft made on DirectX bore fruit. Microsoft saw success with games
I'm gonna
developed
take a
and
break from
published
gaming
in-house.
to go get
Age of
some dinner and
Empires
such.
sold
I'll be back
3
again
million
soon.
units.